Is the Bedrock Wither harder than the Java Wither? This was the primary question I set out to answer several weeks ago, but my initial testing focused on the hard difficulty fight, and at the time it turned out that the Bedrock Wither was affected by a bug in hard mode that prevented the player from getting the Wither status effect. So I moved on and released a second series of tests, focusing on normal difficulty, to get a better comparison. My conclusion was that the Bedrock Wither is harder than the Java Wither, though its reputation has been exaggerated. And I promised to release one final installment once the bug was fixed, so I could try to answer this question as objectively and thoroughly as possible. If you haven't seen the previous two videos, I do highly recommend going back to watch them, as those tests will play into the final outcome. I'll link both of those in the description. But for now, here's some background and a quick summary. My Minecraft journey started over 10 years ago, and after being introduced to the game through Pocket Edition, I discovered there was much more to be had on the primary version of the game that was coded in Java, so I made the switch and never went back. Although I was soon aware of the ways to exploit the Wither's mechanics, I always preferred to fight it traditionally, toe-to-toe, because the challenge was important to me. Over time, I learned additional strategies that would come in handy in other situations, like completing a no mining and no crafting challenge, which meant I would not have access to great gear, and I couldn't dig out a tunnel to hide in either. But I devised a plan and was able to successfully destroy the Wither even with those limitations. Fast forward to 2024, and some chance clicks on YouTube led me to discover new players to the game around its 15-year anniversary, and my new calling, creating guide content. But I wanted my information to be accessible to everyone, so I started focusing much more time on Bedrock. And while I may be a Java player primarily, I love the game in either edition. But when I first fought the Bedrock Wither, I was surprised that it didn't seem to live up to the hype. I consistently felt more nervous fighting the Java Wither, even though I'd rarely lose. So I did some research and discovered why people thought the Bedrock Wither was so hard. Some of the reasons were valid, but had balancing factors that were usually ignored. Others were a few years outdated. So here we are. I know that the Java Wither can be trapped in Bedrock to suffocate, but I learned quickly that the Bedrock Wither could also be exploited the same way, just with different setups. I know that the Java Wither's mechanics are also outdated, so many players opt to use a tunnel setup to trivialize the fight. This in itself honestly answers our question, and fairly in my opinion. But it's also not a challenge. Which Wither offers a true challenge in a traditional fight? The way I decided to test this was by preparing the same gear on the same seed in the same area at the same time of day, and reviewing just how often I'd need to heal. I don't use milk because I expect to be withered multiple times, and swapping unstackable items in and out of my hotbar can be dangerous and isn't my preferred strategy. So instead, I choose to heal using golden apples, since in a typical survival world, it's not very difficult to save up quite a few by the time you choose to fight the Wither. In order to keep the overall runtime of the video at a reasonable point, I'm not going to re-accomplish the Java hard mode fight. You can review it in the first video if you're interested, and here in the background is the end of it. The fight itself took 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and I ate 7 bread and 7 golden apples to stay alive, plus an additional apple to ensure I didn't perish from the Wither effect once it was downed. So, let's see how we fare with the fixed Bedrock Wither on hard mode. Alright, so we are back for another test in Bedrock. This time we will definitely get the Wither effect, so we should have a good test going, and we will compare this to the previous ones. For now, I need to just set the commands for this world. So we're going to go ahead and change this to Game Mode Survival. We're going to set the difficulty to Hard. We're going to make sure that the time is dawn or 0. And now I need to make sure that that sun actually moves, because I turned it off while I'm preparing. Alright. And then our gear here, we have protection on all our armor, as well as Feather Falling 3. Smite 3 on the sword, Power 3 and Infinity on the bow, and Efficiency 3 on all the tools. In case you haven't had a chance to watch the previous videos, that's the setup that we use for every fight on all difficulties. that ensures that we get a baseline. And although I could use the best gear, trying to sort of average out what players might have, generally speaking. So let's just get started. Okay, let's get away from this guy. And I'm trying to see if I remember, does he shoot immediately? Yeah, he pretty much does. So right after the... Oops, I missed. I was going to say, right after that third black skull is a good opportunity to shoot him. Or like that. Oops. I missed. Okay, keep moving. His shots are going to get faster as we go along. In the beginning, he's actually pretty easy to dodge. One of the big differences when I was doing this fight for the first few times, learning the Bedrock Wither fight, without the Wither effect, I actually found this to be pretty easy. That said, when we moved over and we tried the fights on normal and the Wither effect was working properly, I think we got a clearer indication that the Bedrock Wither is more difficult than the Java Wither, even in a traditional fight on Java. That said, it's not super crazy. Okay. There's definitely a big difference in the strategy here. Like, I don't get to shoot very often if I want to ensure that I don't get withered. And if I want to eat, I need to time it. Let's wait till his shots go off. There we go. Oops. Nope, I didn't get either of those. Where are you? Okay, nope, I'm not going to get a shot that time. Oh no, I didn't get to hit him! So I do feel like every shot is precious. Because of his movement, the best time to shoot him is right before or after he shoots. And then you need to be moving. And so that definitely does slow the fight down quite a bit. Nope, he's gonna not go anywhere. Oh, no. Okay, move, move, move. Where are you? Nope, don't go over me. And the other one is that you do need to be careful about letting him drift over your head, as that's actually the thing that makes the Java Wither fight a little bit tough, is the camping that the Wither does. If the Bedrock Wither did that, I think it would be even harder than it actually is. Okay, where are you? I'm not going to be able to hit you there, but that's okay. We haven't gotten withered yet, which is pretty good. But I'm not doing as much damage as I would like. Alright, come get me, bro. Come get me! Oh, I don't think I'm gonna make... Oh, I did make that shot. Nope, didn't make that one. Oh, you're right there. Okay. Well, that's familiar. Okay, we're gonna take advantage of this open terrain that we have and keep kiting a little bit. Nope. Okay. Nope, don't fall in the hole. Don't fall in the hole. Oh, that was a good one. There we go. We got 3 shots off at him. Nope.
Okay, time to keep moving for a second. This is one of the better fights that I have done. Of course, that was one of the limitations of the original testing, is that I had very, very little experience on Bedrock. Oh, his shots are getting faster now. Now he's going to be more likely to hit me. Okay. So that means we also need to maybe ensure that we get back a little bit more open here. Nope, nope. And he's not super close to half, but he's getting there, so I also need to be very much aware of where he is at in the sky when I shoot him. Oops. Man, I feel like I haven't hit him in a while. Alright, there we go. Let's let him get his shots off. We'll go ahead and eat this now, just because I know that it's going to get low enough. And of course, it does get a little bit more difficult to move once you're withered. So once again, let's let him get some shots off, and then we'll eat our bread. There we go. Kite him a little bit more. Okay, where are you gonna go? Oh no, oh, I'm gonna get withered again. Okay. Maybe not. Oh, I got lucky on that one, I think. I feel like I lucky dodged that last one. Alright, I need to eat some bread. I'm listening for shots. Oh, there they are. Oh, now where is he? Where is he? I lost track. Okay. Alright, we got him down. I don't know how much longer... Wait a second. Oh, he did not go down. Well, then it's time to eat this right now. Well, we may not fight the wither skeletons after all, then. Because he didn't make his hole. You know, I know he likes to make a hole. I really need this wither effect to wear off, though. Oh, there's a wither skeleton. Not too worried about them. Oh, but we're gonna eat an apple. Oh, we're gonna eat another apple. Because I got cornered. That was rough. That was really rough. Okay, I need that saturation to kick in. I almost feel like the hole, in some ways, might be a bit easier than having to deal with him out here. I'm not sure. Okay, we're gonna eat another apple. Yeah, we're gonna eat two. Okay, let's get up there. Okay, but now, with him so close, we need to eat one more, I think. Let's go. It's getting late. It's getting to be almost nighttime. I really need to take him out. Okay, let's eat the apple. That was close. Okay, we'll eat another one. Okay, I need to get in there and get him. Need to get him. He's so close. He's so close, but I do know that I'm gonna have to take another one, or we're gonna have problems. Okay, come on, shoot, shoot, shoot. Already know, or dash, or dash. All right, let's get him. All right, we got him. Now let's get safe here and see if we're gonna need to eat another apple or not. Nope, it's wearing off. Okay. Well, that was definitely a difficult fight. Like, don't ever mistake me. I may tell you that the Bedrock Wither is not as hard as people think. That doesn't mean he's not hard. He is absolutely difficult. So we used 10 golden apples and 4 bread on that one. Let me go do some other things, and we're going to compare these results.
Alright, so before we go take a look at our final results, I do want to do one more fight on each edition, and that's because I want to be literally as thorough as possible. So we're going to fight the Wither on easy mode. We're back on Java at the moment. We're going to go to game mode survival. We're going to go to difficulty easy, and we're going to change this to time set 0. Now I've never, as far as I know, I've never actually done either of these fights on easy mode. I've been playing Java for a long time, and I certainly don't recall doing it that way. And by the time I switched to Bedrock, I was pretty comfortable. So let's see. Let's get started. As far as I know, on Bedrock, it's actually designed for the Wither to not give you the Wither effect. But I honestly don't know about Java. Like I say, I've never actually done it. So let's see just how good or bad this fight is. Oops, I'm missing though. I mean, so far, oh, alright. Let's see if we can get back under cover. Come on up, where are you? Oh. I mean, I certainly haven't taken much, if any, damage, so I mean, this is easy so far. I would like to do this quickly. Am I actually going to get the Wither effect? I haven't. Oh boy. So perhaps on Java the Wither effect is not active on easy. Well, I mean, if that's the case, we can be a little bit more bold here. Oops. Whoop. Let's not fall in holes, though. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Now, so here's a big question. Yeah, I don't think the Java Wither gives you Wither on easy either. That was super simple. Super simple. Well, thank goodness. I think that was less than 3 minutes. Awesome. Well, then let me switch over to Bedrock and let's take a look at that one. Alright, so on Bedrock we need to do the same thing. Let's go to game mode. Or nope, I don't know what I'm doing. Game mode survival. Difficulty easy. Alright, and then time set 0. Okay, let's jump right into this. Clearly that was super easy on Java. I honestly expect it to be pretty easy on Bedrock as well. I mean, thank goodness, because, you know, it's called easy for a reason. At least that's my personal thought process. Okay, let's give the Wither some space. And let's get ready to start shooting at him. Of course, we could try not to miss. That would be great. Nope. Alright. Yeah, so he hit me with that. Didn't really hardly do anything. Also, on easy mode, our Bedrock Wither has the same HP as on Java. Of course, it doesn't regenerate any health, so should be simple. Now, I don't know if he does the whole drill thing. Kinda, but kinda not. Let's see, he still dashes and stuff though, right? Yep. And no wither skeletons for this one. Now, because we're on Bedrock and I can sort of spam click, I just need to get in close to him. Oh, he's gonna dash. That's okay. Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. Oh, you missed. Okay, all we need to do is get in close probably one more time. Yep, that's it. Okay, and that was really about the same amount of time, I think. And pretty similar on the damage too, actually. We'll eat some bread, recover some health. Alright, now it's time to go put all this together and we'll take a final review and see how the withers stack up on both the editions, on all difficulties. As always, all the gear here I used exactly the same on every level and both editions, so that we can try and get the best baseline possible. So I will see you in just a second. Now it's time to gather all our data and compare, and make a final assessment. First off, let's look at the hard fight. The Bedrock Wither took significantly longer for me to beat, although its actual damage output per minute was nearly the same and slightly lower. On Java, I ate 7 to 8 golden apples for a 6-minute fight, while on Bedrock I used 10 in a 10-minute fight. For the math heads out there, this means I averaged 1 apple for every 54 seconds in Java and 1 every 61 seconds in Bedrock. But of course, the length of the fight means that the total damage output of the Bedrock Wither was higher, just not by the huge margin the average player would have you believe. The normal mode fights I completed in the second video actually had a greater disparity at first, with the Java fight taking 4 minutes and 21 seconds and only requiring 3 golden apples, while the Bedrock Wither took me twice as long and 3 times as many apples. I ran a couple additional tests to see if my normal average would change, and in fact it did get better very quickly, reducing the time to just under 7 minutes and needing 5 golden apples. So those results were a little more in line with our hard mode testing, although the damage output per minute was slightly higher on Bedrock. Switching to easy was an entirely different story. The Java Wither took a measly 2 minutes flat, and the Bedrock Wither was even quicker at 1 minute 46 seconds. And to be clear, the standard I use for measuring is the time that the boss bar is visible on the screen, from the placing of the third Wither skeleton skull to the time the Wither fully disappears. Meaning that with the Bedrock Wither's longer death sequence, the entire actual fight was over in just under 90 seconds on Bedrock and 107 seconds in Java. Neither battle required any golden apples. In fact, I didn't even need to restore my hunger at all during the process. So while the Java Wither may have the tiniest of edges on easy mode, due to its health regeneration, the reality is that easy on both editions is too similar to sway either way. So what does all that mean? Well, as you probably guessed by now, the short answer is that my original hypothesis was pretty reasonable. I stated in the first video that I didn't think there'd be a big gap between the two withers. Ultimately, I support the conclusion that the Bedrock Wither is more difficult than the Java Wither, and at the same time, I'd also like to put the exaggerations to bed. If you're good at Minecraft Java, you're going to be fine fighting the Bedrock Wither, and vice versa. And if you struggle with one, you'll probably struggle with the other, despite their differences. Out of all the arguments made, the clear deciding factor here is the Wither effect. The additional mechanics of the Bedrock Wither aren't a huge contributor to its difficulty. I won't rehash this point, I've talked about it in the previous comparisons, but the slower regeneration in Bedrock does make the Wither effect more dangerous. So although you can damage the Bedrock Wither more quickly in many cases, the player is stuck needing to heal more often, thus slowing down the fight and also creating more opportunities to be hit yet again. In fact, if we were to give Bedrock the Java Wither's regeneration, we'd have a real beast on our hands. Moving into easy mode and removing the Wither effect nullifies the Bedrock Wither's primary advantage. We can depict this by graphing the healing needed on both editions and in each difficulty setting. My final word? The Bedrock Wither holds the edge, but both creatures are dangerous in their own right. And while I've said it before, the reality is that the Java Wither could use an update. And honestly, maybe the Bedrock Wither could too. We didn't discuss it earlier, but one of the major complaints about the Bedrock Wither is the lag it can easily cause, creating a huge obstacle to players on some devices. And while it wouldn't make sense for me to factor that into the direct difficulty testing, because that's a hardware limitation and not an apples-to-apples comparison, it does matter for player experience and enjoyment. There are ways this could be fixed. And there is an argument to be made for examining the differences between editions and taking the best of each to improve the other, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Stay tuned for that discussion coming soon. Lastly, my primary reason for making what has now become a trilogy is to remind players that there is value in both editions, and the debates tend to revolve around personal preferences and usually try to equate the game's positives or negatives with their own player identity, which only causes frustration and never really creates a real dialogue for improving the game where it matters. After spending so much time on both editions of Minecraft, I can confidently say that some things are harder on Bedrock, while some are easier. Some functions of Java are better, and some aren't. At the end of the day, both have strengths and weaknesses, period. And I am glad to have made the choice to incorporate both editions into my gameplay and my content. I hope you stick around to see the future projects I'm cooking up. If you enjoyed today's analysis, please let YouTube know you liked the video by clicking that button, and I'd encourage you to check out some other videos and consider subscribing. A great community of Minecraft players is the reason these videos exist. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.